اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Another session on Quran made easy. What I want to do today is to get straight into the action on lesson 5 handouts. I want to refresh our memory on ending sounds and ending combinations and really solidify that concept. Then I'm going to switch it back onto the brief consolidated notes and add to that based on what we've learnt. And then switch it back onto the slide back again to go through some drills and exercises. I do want to complete those exercises before I do the next concepts on plurals. So whether I get time to do that today or not, I'm not sure. But the main thing is that we spend quality time on the concepts that we learn so far. And I also want to switch it to the ayat as well, so that we can apply some of the information and knowledge that we've learnt. So let's get straight to it. We started towards the latter half of last lesson. We did lesson 5 handouts on pair and dual combinations. And this was to really differentiate between ending sound and ending combination. So ending sound is your Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin. That has an un for rafa, an for nasab, in for jar, and they are one in number. They are singular. The pair is called an ending combination because you have to look for the last 2 letters of the word. And we looked at this table last time, and we saw the first line and saw Muslimani. The thing that makes it an ending combination is the ani, and that's the rafa version of Muslim. So if you were to look at the English, 2 Muslims traveled, that's the doer of the act. The act is traveled. Who's doing the act? 2 Muslims. And 2 Muslims means it's a rafa because it's doing the act, and the rafa of 2 Muslims is Muslimani. Muslimani. If it was 1 Muslim doing the act, you would say Muslimun. So that's the rafa version. The nasab version is Muslimaini. Muslimaini, and that has an ending combination of ya sukun and a noon. Yeah. And that's the detail of the act because it says I saw. So the next question is, you saw what? I saw 2 Muslims. So 2 Muslims is the detail. Therefore, it's nasab. How do you recognize the nasab in Arabic? You look at the ending combination. And if it's an aini ending, then it's nasab. Or it could be jar, because jar is the same as the nasab in this case. And we said last time that the only way you can differentiate it is through context and common sense of sentences. Okay, so I hope that's clear. And then I don't think we looked at this. No, we haven't done this exercise. So let's go to our brief notes. I've made it a lot more brief this time. I don't need to define, sorry, one sec. Okay, I've already just put fi'l here and harf here. I don't need to go over that in detail. Harf, you know, things like of, in, etc. And fi'l is a word that's stuck in a tense, and we're not covering that in detail. So any action words like traveled, traveling, slept, running, ran, etc. Anything you can think of that's stuck in a tense. Ism is the main thing we're looking at throughout this month. And I've got the 4 components here: status, number, gender, and type. I'm not going to write the person, place, thing, idea, adjectives, adverb, and more. I'm sure you can think of so many examples now. I'm not going to write that every lesson now. Done that 2 or 3 times already. Status, we're covering in quite a lot of detail. Number, we're touching on now because we've done the singular form and we've done the pair. Gender, we haven't touched yet, but I do believe there will be some overlap, and we might touch some of the masculine stuff and maybe feminine, but the feminine aspect of it is very comprehensive, and we won't be touching type. But for now, we need to know that every single ism word has 4 components. And we're going to be brief about this. Status is rafa', which is the doer. Nasab is the detail. Jar, and now it's after of. And then in order to recognize the rafa', nasab, and jar, we look at the ending sounds of un, or u, an, or un, or sorry, and I've put this lower down, so it's in or e. That's rafa', that's nasab, and that's jar. That's ending sounds, and now we've learnt that for ending combinations, we look at a different sound, or not a sound, a different ending, and that's ani, rafa', aini, aini. And we know that nasab and jar versions are the same ending combinations, and some rules that or some tips that I gave you last time. Number 1, it's not enough to look at the ending sound. But the main tip I want you to take away is, put it here, always, 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 and I'm emphasizing this 3 times because I need you to know this. Always, always, always look for ending combinations first. So we'll leave the brief notes here for now. And I'll tell you why you need to look for that first in a moment when we switch over to the slide pack. The other way of remembering ending sounds is ru, na, ji, un, an, in, or u, e. That only applies to ending sounds. But definitely remember this rule here. Okay, let's go back. I'm going to go on this exercise. So if you go to your handouts, you should have this exercise. Figure out the status of the following words. So we want to know if they're rafa', nasab, or jar. And it says here, ensure you look at the ending combinations first. Okay, very, very important. First one, let's start on the right. Qalbayni. Qalbayni means 2 hearts. 2 hearts. So we need to know if that's a rafa', nasab, or jar. And I want you to follow a process. I don't want you to just think of the answer straight away. I want you to go from the beginning combination pair, ending combination pair. So I want you to say qalbani, qalbayni, qalbayni. In fact, I want you to do the Muslim chart first, the Muslim version of that word. So muslimani, muslimaini, muslimaini, and then change it to qalbani, qalbayni, qalbayni. So muslimani is rafa', muslimaini is nasab, muslimaini is jar. Qalbani is rafa', qalbayni is nasab, and qalbayni can also be jar. So what's the answer? Nasab or jar. Nasab or jar. It could be one of the 2. And how do you know which one it will be? If it was within a sentence, then I could tell you, oh, this one is jar or this one is nasab. But we're not looking at sentences. We're only looking at words. So in this occasion, On this occasion, we just put nasab and jar. Two gardens. Two gardens. We actually looked at a beautiful ayah in the last session right at the end. وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ. And so whoever fears or is in awe in standing in front of his Lord, of his Rabb, how many Jannahs will they get? Two gardens. So Jannatani is Rafa. I also want you to stress test it. So not only say the Rafa version, say the Nasab and Jar version. So Jannatani, if it was Nasab, it would be Jannataini. Jar, Jannataini. Jannataini. Next one, Shahidaini. Shahidaini. Sorry, Shahidaini. Two witnesses. Let's go from the top. Shahidani is the Rafa. Shahidaini is Nasab. And Shahidaini can be Jar. So it's again Nasab or Jar. Yatimaini. Yatimaini. Two orphans. What would be the Rafa version? Yatimani. Yatimani, because Rafa has a ani ending combination. What would be the Nasab version? As it says, Yatimaini. Yatimaini. And Jar, you know, is the same as the Nasab version. So that's also Yatimaini. It's Nasab and Jar. At this point, what I want to ask, what potential mistake could you make if you don't look for ending combination first? What mistake could you make, a big mistake that you can make if you don't look for the ending combination first? If you don't look for the ani, aini, aini first, and you just go for the runaji first, un, an, in, or u, e, what mistake could you make? Well, hopefully you would have realized that if you just go and look at this, the e sound, you'll just think, oh, it's jar. It's jar. But on this occasion, it might be jar, but you can't just look at that first because you could have been yawmani. I mean, let's look at this one here, jannatani. Let's imagine you only look at the kasra there and you said ending sound, e sound, therefore it's a jar. It will be wrong because it's the ani that makes it a rafa. And therefore, if you haven't figured that out first, then you would go straight into the ending sound assumption and make a big mistake. So that's the reason why we look for ending combination first, so that you don't mistake things for jar. Okay, so yawmaini is nasab and jar. Next one, masjidani. Masjidani. What's the ending combination? Is it ani, aini, or aini? Well, it seems to be ani. Now let's think of the chart. Muslimani, muslimaini, muslimaini. Which one does it match? Masjidani is rafa. And if it's the nasab and jar version, it will be masjidaini, masjidaini. Next one, husnayaini. Husnayaini. Two excellent things. I'll write the process down. Number one, look for ending combinations. Number two, on this slide, it's all ending combinations, so we know that. So I won't put, if you can't find ending combination, then look for ending sound, even though that is the case. But on this slide, everything is ending combination. But let's say now you know that it's ending combination. You need to check for ani is rafa, aini is nasab, aini jar. So you follow that process and you should have no problem, and you shouldn't be getting overwhelmed by any of these words. Husnayaini. Husnayaini, ending combination. What's the ending combination? Is it ani? Nope. So it's not rafa. Is it aini? Seems it. So therefore it's nasab or jar. Rajulaini. Rajulaini. Again, what's the ending combination? Ya sukun and noon. So aini ending. Ani is rafa. So it's not that. Aini is nasab or jar. And if it was rafa, you would say rajulani. Rajulani. Two men. And can you think of a sentence where rajulani can be the dua, the rafa? You could say two men walked up the hill. So in that case, who's doing the walking? Two men. So the walked is the action word. So if I was to say two men walked, walked is the action word. Who's doing the walking? Two men. So therefore that would be a rafa. And the rafa version of two men is rajulani, because ani ending is rafa. Aini ending means it's a nasab or jar. So let's think of two sentences in English where two men can be seen as a detail. Could be he hit two men. Okay, so in this occasion, hit is the action word. Yeah. So who's doing the hitting? He. So he is a rafa, but we're interested in the two men only. And two men on this in this context is the detail. So that's nasab on that occasion, and that would be rajulaini. This one is rajulani, this one is rajulaini. And let's think of a jar example. The business of two men. So the business, so two men can own a business, for example, and you're talking about that business. So the business of two men, the word after of is two men, therefore that would be also rajulaini. So that's how you know how to differentiate between the nasab and jar. Look at the context of the sentence, you apply your common sense, and you say, okay, that one's nasab. He hit two men is nasab, and the business of two men, rajulaini, is jar. That's clear. Okay, let's do the next one. So look at the time. Okay, let's do a few minutes on this. Let's finish this off and then we'll just go to the ayat. Walidaini, walidaini, two parents. Two parents. But which version of two parents? Aini ending. Aini ending is either nasab or jar. What would be the rafat version? Walidani. Walidani. Two qiblas. Two qiblas. Qiblataini. Qiblataini. What's the ending combination? Aini again. Therefore, that's nasab and jar. What would be the rafat version? Qiblatani. Qiblatani. Two men. Rajulani, we've done this. So if this one here is the nasab and jar version, then this one must be Rajulani, the rafa version. And then finally, ayataini. Two ayat. Two ayat. That would be an ending combination of aini, nasab or jar once again. What would be the rafa version? It would be ayatani. Ayatani. I hope that's clear. Let's look at some of these and then think to ourselves, what would be the ending sound version, singular version of them? So if we were to say masjidani, we know the ani ending. That means it's an ending combination. We know it's rafa. If I was to say, give me the single version of masjidani, you would need to take off the ending combination and replace it with an ending sound. So what do you think that would be? Rafa Singular is masjidun. Masjidun. So to work it back, it's quite handy to do that as well. I think we'll probably practice more of that in the next exercise though. Okay. Figure out the status. Rafa, nasab, and jar. Let's start with the right one. So qalamun. Qalamun. First of all, I don't want you to just answer the question. I want you to go through the process. So I said before, rule number one, look for ending combinations first. And if it is an ending combination, then you answer the question accordingly. But let's say it's not. If it's not an ending combination, then it's an ending sound. If it's an ending combination, it's a pair or a plural, but we're not touching plural just yet. We'll probably do it in the next lesson now. We probably won't have time to touch on the plural. And if it's not an ending combination, that means an ending sound. If it's an ending sound, then for now, you know it's a singular, meaning one in number. So qalamun. Qalamun. Let's look for the ending combination first in qalamun. What are the ending combinations? Ani, aini, aini. Muslimani, muslimaini, muslimaini. Does it say qalamani or qalamaini or qalamaini? It doesn't. So we can rule out ending combinations. What does that leave you with? It leaves you with ending sound. So what are the ending sounds? Let's do the Muslim chart. Muslimun, musliman, muslimin. Let's substitute it for this word. Qalamun, qalaman, qalamin. So it says qalamun. Therefore, qalamun is rafa because it has a sound. Yeah. I'll put rule G here as well so that it's easier to remember. Rafa because it has a sound. And in English example of that, a pen broke. Broke is the action word. Who's doing the breaking? A pen. Or what's doing the breaking? A pen. Therefore, the pen is the doer of the act. Hence, it's rafa. Next one, Muslimun. We've just done that because Muslimun is our template chart for to find out rafa, nasab, and jar. Easy one, singular. But let's go through the process anyway. First thing we need to look for is an ending combination. We need to get in the habit of doing that. So I don't want you to just look at it Muslimun. Oh, we've done that in the first lesson. So therefore, yeah, it's one Muslim. Yeah, it's one Muslim and rafa. But I want you to get in the habit of looking for ending combinations first, because I don't want you to get caught out later on. So let's see if an ending combination. What are the ending combination of that word? It would be muslimani, muslimaini, muslimaini. Doesn't have that, so we know it's an ending sound. Therefore, it's an, or in, and it happens to be muslimun, which means it's rafa. If it was nasab, it would be musliman, and if it was jar, it would be muslimin. An example of that, we've looked at that sentence before. A Muslim traveled. Okay, let's do one more minute on this. We'll do a couple more, and then I want to switch to the ayat. Qalaman, qalaman, one on the right. Okay, so ending combination first. What would that be? Qalamani, it would have an ani ending. Qalamani. Or qalamaini, ani, aini, aini. Qalamani, qalamaini, qalamaini. Doesn't have an ending combination. So therefore, it's an ending sound. What would be the rafa version? Qalamun, as we did in the first example. What's the nasab version? Qalaman, and that's your answer. And an example sentence is I found a pen. Action word is found. And who's doing the finding? I. And what was found? A pen. So therefore, that's the detail, and that's the nasab. What would be the jar version? It would be qalamin. Let's do one more. Musliman. Easy. We all know it's nasab. Muslimun, musliman, muslimin. But what would be the ending combination of musliman, of Muslim words? So muslimani, muslimaini, muslimaini. It's not ani, aini, aini. Therefore, we switch to the ending sound and we go for it. Muslimun, it's not Muslimun. Musliman, because it's a detail, that means it's nasab. And an English sentence example is, I saw a Muslim. And actually, let's just do one more. Qalamin. What's the ending combination of qalam? We've done that in the previous one. So qalamani, is it that? Nope. Qalamaini, qalamaini. There's no ending combinations in sight. Therefore, now we think of ending sound. Qalamun, it's not qalamun, that's rafa'. Qalaman, it's not qalaman, that's nasab. It's qalamin, it's jar. Therefore, an English example is color of pen is blue. So I don't mean to be tedious in this, but we really have to go through that process to hit home the idea of going through ending combination first and ending sound. Because when you have when I give an exercise, when it's all jumbled up, it's very easy for students to just jump to conclusions and think, yeah, they just think ending sound, it's got an E sound, therefore it's a jar. And therefore they must be right. But they're not right because they didn't look for the ending combination. That's why it's really important to follow that process. In the last few minutes, let's go over some ayat. Let's do something beyond the Fatiha. Okay. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. So a heads up, we haven't got any ending pair combinations in these ayat. It's only singular or plural. So we haven't done plural. So I guess we're only going to look out for the ending sounds in this. However, we can go through the process anyway. So I'll point out to you the word in question. So in this ayah, we're only looking at isms, and the ism with an ending sound is this. As-siyamu. Let's look at the translation first. O you who have believed, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, kutiba alaykumus siyam, decreed upon you is fasting. Kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum, as it was decreed upon those before you. La'allakum tattaqun, so that you may become righteous. So the key word I want you to focus on is as-siyamu. That's the ism. And what do you think that is? Is it a rafa', nasab, or jar? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. It will be, it's an all sound. Therefore, it's an, let's follow the process. Let's look for an ending combination, even though I've told you that there are no ending combination pairs in this, but I don't think there's such a thing as fasting pair, but okay, for the exercise's sake, let's just say as-siyamani, as-siyamaini, as-siyamaini. I don't think that word exists, but we're just doing it for the sake of it. We know there's no ani, aini ending, therefore it must be an ending sound, and it has an u sound, therefore it's rafa'. So as-siyamu, rafa'. Next ayah. أياما معدودات فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر. There's a few here. Some of them are the plural here, which we haven't done. So I'm going to circle this word here, which means ill. So whoever among you is ill or on a journey. So safarin and fa'iddatun and ayamin. Let's do these 4 and call it a day. Let's start with this one, maridan. Let's do the Muslim version of it. So muslimun. Let's look for ending combination first. Ani, aini, aini. There's no ani, aini, aini in any of them. So let's rule out ending combination. We need to do that for good practice, right? Now we go to look for ending sounds. We know ending sounds are un, or in. Let's do the Muslim version of it. Muslimun, musliman, That's your match. Maridan. Musliman, maridan. Muslimun is rafa, Musliman is nasab. And maridan is nasab. And look at the translation, it's a detail, right? So whoever among you is ill or on a journey. So that's nasab ala safarin. Safarin. And in combination, we've ruled that out. So it leaves you with ending sound. Let's start with rafa version. Safarun. Muslimun, safarun. Safaran is nasab. Safarin is jar because it has a in sound. Safarin jar. You might be wondering where's the how come it's not after of. Safarin means journey. I did say after of is the basic definition of jar, and jar has wider functions, so we don't need to go into that in detail. What we do need to know is an in sound is jar, and we know that, so we've worked that out already. Fa'iddatun, fa'iddatun. There's no ending combination, therefore it's an ending sound. Let's think of the Muslim word, muslimun. Muslimun is rafa. Let's replace it. Fa'iddatun. Iddatun. Un sound is rafa. And then finally, we look at ayyamin. Ayyamin means days, number of days. Rafa version is ayyamun. Don't get mixed up with the amin and ani. It has to be, if it's an ending pair combination, it has to be ani, noon at the end. Amin is still an ending sound, okay, because there's no sign of ending combination pair. Ayyamin. Muslimun, musliman, muslimin. Ayyamun, ayyaman, ayyamin. Ja. So maridan is nasab, safarin is jar, fa'iddatun rafa', ayyamin jar. We'll leave it there, and next time we'll start the concept of ending combination plural. So I look forward to teaching that. Keep going over your notes, try and do your own consolidated notes, and try not to look at the lesson handouts. The handouts are there as a safety net. But once you internalize that, try and make a one-pager of your own, inshallah. And see you next time, inshallah. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن الحكيم ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله